Good evening, modelers. This is the Stunthangar Hangout, held twice a week on Mondays and Fridays. And I'm Rusty from Stunthangar Control Line Forums. Posted the links in the usual place in the Stunthangar forum members only at the bench thread. And the chat box from the YouTube page is open. Hopefully it's working okay now. We had a little trouble with it a while back, but it seems to run pretty smoothly, although we don't get as much traffic as we used to. But we're still getting a full house of video viewers, so I appreciate that. And so it's 9:42, April 9th, 2018, and I'll be here for the next couple of hours for anybody that wants to talk about airplanes, modeling, or anything else you like to do with tools in your shop. So feel free to join. Go to the bench thread, click on whichever link you prefer. You can watch on YouTube anonymously if you like. Use the chat box, and we'll incorporate the chat your chat box posts in with our video discussions. So far I've got 0 viewers, so the only people seeing me talking right now are the people that watch the reruns. We do this unlisted and then publish it as a recording when we're finished every night. So anytime you want to watch any episode we've done, it's always on the Stunthangar YouTube channel. And every single one of them is there. There's some good information. We don't swear everything we say is correct or the way you would do it, but we just kind of trade ideas. And you know, if you've got opinions and that sort of thing, you know, try to qualify them with I think this is how something works, or this has always worked for me. And that way we're not to confuse anybody and taking anything we say as a tutorial. But we do have people building while we're chatting, and that makes it fun too, so we can see what everybody else does, you know, how everybody else does different things different ways on their models. And right now I've got a Cardinal in my workshop that's been waiting all winter long for me. Let me adjust my camera a little bit there. I need to fix it with something better than tape. And finally making some headway on that. Made the first flight of the spring last Thursday, and that was good. And I got a flying trip planned for tomorrow. So me and my flying buddy Wayne are going to go out and sling some planes around, and I think it's supposed to be pretty nice. We had a rerun of winter this weekend, and especially today it was cold and wet, but I think spring is supposed to return tomorrow. And I sure hope that's true. Another thing I sure hope is that somebody will come in here and visit me, so that I don't have to think of something to say between now and midnight. But I did post the links. Let me double check, because I've been known to sit here and not have properly advertised it. Yeah, they are up on the Stunthangar forum. So here we are. Oh, we got 1 viewer. Okay. Hello, YouTube viewer. Glad to see somebody's watching. Well, he disappeared in a hurry. But anyway, it's too nasty today to go out to the shop and work on anything. And then this weekend, we were pretty busy with other things besides aeromodeling activities. But the next thing on my Cardinal I want to do is get the little dings and nicks and gaps filled on the fuselage, so I can go ahead and get some dope on it, and then paper it. It'll be ready for painting. I still hadn't bought my colors yet, but the lacquer I'm going to use is available at the auto parts store down the street, and that will complete the fuselage pretty much. I always build. In the past, I've always built the wing first. This time I decided to build the fuselage first, And I kind of think that's a better idea because it's a lot easier to fix any hanger rash while the fuselage hangs around in the shop waiting on the wing than it is the other way around. If you build the wing first, the damage that can be done to it before it's covered and ready to go in the fuselage is worse and harder to fix. And I kind of like this, and it also makes it easier for painting the fuselage. I can just jig it up and spray it without having the wing in the way, and it makes masking a whole lot easier. And what I've been using the past couple of projects was the Duplicolor Perfect Match acrylic lacquer. And they also, on the same shelf, they make acrylic enamel, so don't get those confused. Now, the acrylic enamel is what I would use on a half-A plane that was going to be a beater, and I didn't want to bother using a separate clear to fuel-proof it or any of that, because it's like Rust-Oleum, a lot more fuel-proof, only it's a whole lot lighter than Rust-Oleum. Talking about the acrylic enamel that I would use on something like a half-A plane. But for my stunt ships that I want to be pretty and also light, the acrylic lacquer is light like dope. It dries just as fast like dope, and it is also compatible with Brodak butyrate clear, which I use for fuel proofing, and so that's convenient, and works out well. You don't have to wait so long, because with Rust-Oleum sometimes you have to wait a week or two depending on the humidity and temperature in the summertime too, and in the winter, forget it. It's going to have to sit for a long time before that paint's dry. And yeah, my usual test for a Rust-Oleum job is to just touch it and barely touch it and see if it leaves the slightest impression of a fingerprint. And if it does, it ain't ready yet. It needs to keep gassing off until it hardens, and it won't leave any impression before you put your clear coat on. And then clear coats aren't as compatible, and they'll cause it to orange peel and bubble. And I've used luster coat with some success. I've never tried butyrate on the acrylic enamel, but if you dust it on very lightly, heat it up, shake it up twice or three times as long as it's supposed to be shaken, shake it like you're mad at it, the luster coat clear, and then spray it on in just a couple of dustings or a few dustings, and usually works pretty good and doesn't orange peel, at least if you don't put it on too thick, at least not for the first year or two. And sometimes later on it'll crack and bubble a little bit, but still generally works pretty good for beat around planes like half-A's that you can go out and sling around. But I see I got one viewer. I hope it's somebody that's interested in what I'm talking about, or somebody that will engage me in conversation. But anyway, getting back to the Cardinal, I use the acrylic lacquer, the Duplicolor Perfect Match acrylic lacquer on it, and I was looking for this Cardinal to be chrome and cobalt blue, and they do make a cobalt blue, and I've found some chrome paint when I asked a question in the finishing section on Stunthangar control line forums, and so I got a line on both of those that I need to start looking into now, because this close to finishing the fuselage. I'd like to get the paint on it and let it cure while I'm building the wing, and maybe this summer I can get that thing in the air. The original plan, of course, was to fly it this May, but then October came and I went down with a broken bone and just getting back up. So did a little slight delay in that plan. In fact, here on the video forums, we were going to have a winter build off, or I should just call it a winter build. All the regular guys that come on here and talk on Mondays and Friday nights, we're going to build the model of their choice, and we were just going to compare our different methods for doing the same things, like how you install a bell crank, how you apply paint and dope, how you cut ribs, all that kind of stuff. But once I went down, we had a couple of other members that were still building, but we didn't really coordinate it like the original plans had referred to. But still, we got a couple of guys that got a lot of stuff done this winter. Now, Tom Creasy's built several planes, and of course Sparky's putting them together, putting all those voodoos together left and right. I think he's got 5 of them now. I think originally he was talking about 6, and I think he's on his 5th one. Everyone's got minor differences and improvements, and I'm interested. I hope he gets the camera out when he flies those, because I want to see him fly. And most of them have similar engines on them. I have to wait for him to come. I think they're Super Tigers, but and they're ball bearing Super Tigers, but we'll wait for Sparky to come tell us what that is, or the originator of one engine is one of our regulars, Jim Ballard, could tell us what about that engine too. But looks like a good match for the Voodoo. And I always wanted to build a Super Satan, but after seeing the Voodoo, it's a whole lot simpler kit to build, and with about the same end results, probably lighter. And so I think I'd like to put one of those on my build list one of these days. Now I got 3 viewers on YouTube, and nobody coming in to visit me on video, so I hope somebody shows up soon. If any of you 3 people watching on YouTube get the urge, type something, just shout out a hello to me or something, so I'll know. Well, if you don't want me to know who you are, then don't do it. That is one of my advertisements, is you can watch anonymously. So if you prefer to do that, then don't post anything, because I'll see your name then. So what else have we got? When I first started doing this show, I used to prepare for these introductions, because there was sometimes a half hour or more that I would have to sit here and try to be interesting before anybody would come join me. But now it happens so fast, usually I hadn't been able to get through telling everybody what the date is before somebody joins. But Monday night, I guess everybody's chilling. That's fine. I'm down with chilling. Now you can only see me. See, I got to get a better camera set up. I like to keep my head in the middle of the picture, but I took it off one day to work on the computer and scotch taped the stupid thing back, and now it won't stay. So we got 2 contests coming up in about 3 weeks. Let me look at my camera here. Let's see, my camera here, my calendar here. Coming up in May is contest in Huntersville is the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So that's Saturday being Cinco de Mayo. That's the day we fly our favorite. My favorite event is Profile. Oh, hey Kevin, how you doing tonight? You can hang here for a while. Sure, glad to have you. I wish I had somebody to talk with on the video side, but I'll wait. We usually fill up pretty good after a while. I'll type you a message. I'm assuming you can hear me talking. Hi, Kevin. There you go. Yeah, welcome. I'm just talking about different projects and painting, getting ready to paint my Cardinal and all that kind of thing, and different paints I use for my stunt ships and for my cafe ships. The difference between acrylic lacquer and Is it an early start? No, I started at 9:40. That's my usual time. But maybe everybody's just running late today. Yeah, okay, good. So you can hear me talking. Excellent. All right. Well, it's just me and you. And we got four viewers watching. You'd be one of them. And so anyway, tomorrow my plans have changed. I was probably going to work on the Cardinal some in the shop, but now it looks like my buddy called me and wants to go flying, so I'm going to go test the old gimpy leg and see how it goes, and get back into turning some circles. The first flight I took after the winter was last Thursday, and I had to stop and do some lazy eights a little bit to get the dizzies out, but I was able to fly in both directions pretty well. Usually by the time I fly 6 laps inverted, for instance, flying the pattern, I'm about ready to stop and do those 3 outside loops. But I was able to turn backwards as well as forward the other day. And we finally have a video visitor. Let's see who we got here. Oh, this is Tom. Good evening, Tom.
All right.
It's me and you and Kevin McElroy on the YouTube side. What you up to tonight?
Oh, not too much. I'm just taking it easy. I'm waiting for some thimbles to come in. I need some thimbles so I can get my lead outs done on the Crusader.
Yeah, that's the ones you were talking about trying to do the other night.
Yeah. And then on the Stuka, wait for it to dry, but I had to get the radiator grill in there.
That's good. What did you make that out of? Is that just balsa stick?
Yeah, just balsa sticks, and they're doped, they're primered, painted, and then Z-epoxied. So that should be strong enough, I'd say. You know, it's in the engine area.
Yeah. I better say this before we go on. You know, I crashed the other night. I ended up doing a full system restore from my weekly backup. And if that happens, if I crash tonight, will immediately, once I get rebooted, go restart the Hangout show and repost a new URL in the at the bench thread. So if for some reason I go offline and the show crashes, then just go back to at the bench and rejoin the new show. I'm not sure what went on with that, but my whole computer locked up. And once I got it rebooted, it worked. But then the next day, it was really screwy. So I went ahead and got the backup drive plugged in and just reloaded the whole shebang.
Huh. Well, it seems to be working pretty good right now, I think, on my end.
It does now. What startled me into making that announcement is that I was just looking at my computer screen, and all of a sudden my taskbar disappeared and every icon went out black, and then one at a time they lit back up all in a row. And so I thought maybe I better announce it before I crashed again. So
yeah.
Anyway, so you or Kevin can pass the word along if all of a sudden we go down, because y'all usually are able to still keep talking if I crash out, but it's not recording the show to YouTube anymore. And if it was early in the show, I'd want to restart it and get y'all to click back into the new link.
Mm. Yeah, I was getting set up down here and everything, and I was hearing you talk something about all of us building or something, building together or something, building a plane, or.
You know, I was talking about building my Cardinal, but you know, we were talking about end of last summer, we were going to all do a winter build. everybody on our usual group that hangs out here was going to build something different, and we were just going to compare notes on how each of us does the various parts of a control line plane and compare. And so when I went down, we didn't really follow through 100% about comparing everybody's, stuff. Not formally. We just kind of ad hoc did it, because you built a bunch, and Sparky built, and Jamie built, and so it went on, but it just wasn't in the organized fashion that we had originally imagined when we came up with the idea. But my Cardinal's back at the top of the list now, and I've been working on it, so it's looking okay.
Too bad you couldn't, like when we're doing hangouts like mine. It took me a long time to get set up down here, but man, I just love it here. I'm setting up my table, and
yeah,
I want.
It's just too far from the shop, though. It's about 150 feet through the brick wall of the house, through the metal wall of the shop, and I don't think I've got the bandwidth to try to. And I'd have to take the PC out there. You can't do this with a tablet or a phone either. You can't. Not hosting. I could join as a guest.
My buddy took a you go to Menards or Lowe's, and you can buy yourself a category 5 wire, which is like for your thermostat.
I believe I've got a roll of Cat 6 actually.
Yeah, and you can plug right into your router, and you can dig it in the ground and go right to where your shed is, and
yeah,
boom.
You're right about that. And just plug it in.
They have an Ethernet receptacle, which is just like a regular duplex box that you put in the wall, and you can just plug right into that. That's what he did. Yeah, he's never gonna till, and he's not gonna till the area up like in a garden or dig in the area. Hell, he just went 6-8 inches down.
I'd run it right along my fence line. I got a fence line that runs almost all the way to the shop.
Actually, there's a rental place, and they rent a dog fence. A dog fence burial. So it's a machine that you put a roll of wire on, and
I know,
place it through, and it'll actually knife it into the ground for you.
Oh, really?
You just pull a handle and walk behind it.
Oh, that sounds like a way to go.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you familiar with dog fences?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I mean, I've read about them and heard about them. I've never heard of the system you're talking about for burying it, but I can envision.
Yeah, it's the same machine that you can rent for sod cutting. Cut your sod and roll it up. They got a deal to do that. But anyway, that's how you can get that out there. And dude, it's not hard at all to put an Ethernet fitting on the end.
That makes it sound a lot easier, because I was just imagining myself trying to swing a pick and dig a trench out there. I'd have to get somebody else to do it for me.
No, this is actually it's called a you go into a rental place that rents tools, and say, hey, you got a sod cutter, we'll have one. Just say, hey, do you got the attachment to go on for the dog fence burial? And they'll hook you right up.
All right. That's good to know.
Yeah, that same machine even does for lawn edging. It gets you a little triangle cut out. So when you lift up the sod, it's a big piece of triangle, and you lift it away, and it's pretty cool little machine.
Then all I have to do is buy another PC to take out there. But I guess that's doable.
Yeah, I mean, some of us, you know, if Steve Hines was on, he'd tell you us rednecks,
Yeah,
we'll just roll the damn wire right on out, and when we get done, we'll just roll it back up and wait for the next time we hang out.
yeah. Hey, Jamie,
Hey, hey.
was that
No, what time did you start to stream?
9:40?
At what?
9:40. Same as always.
Okay. Because like when I looked on the place to get the link, it showed it like 7:40 something my time. I'm like, really over an hour already?
I don't know. Maybe it's showing my time where you are instead of maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something in your profile settings about.
Yeah, I don't think I have my time actually set up.
That might be. But yeah, no, it was 9:40, something like that. Ron Hass joined us. He's over on the YouTube watching. Good evening, Ron.
Yeah, it's 8:40 when you start here on my end.
It was a slow start tonight. I had to talk for a solid 20 minutes before you came in, Tom. But I had Kevin to talk with via YouTube, and I was just sitting here trying to make up stuff to fill the time. I didn't do too bad. I used to prepare for that because when I first started doing the show, sometimes it would be 20 or 30 minutes. And so I would have to have something ready to be talking about just to try to be interesting until somebody showed up. But nowadays, y'all jump in about the time I'm saying, oh, it's Monday, April 9th, 2018. And by that time, somebody's sitting there waiting to say hi.
Yeah. Yeah, I start preparing for our hangouts that morning when I wake up. I plan my whole day and my evening around on Friday nights and Monday nights.
Yeah. Well, you're way ahead of me.
Well, sometimes I'll be like working on an airplane and say, well, I would like to get this far before I go online tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate you putting the thought into making sure you come visit, because it's good to have regular regular viewers come support the thing, because it would be pretty boring with just me sitting here hoping somebody would drop in.
Yeah. Just stuck there right there for a good hour or two, just talking to yourself, looking at a computer screen.
I don't know how long that would last, but people come to me at contests and tell me that they enjoy watching, and what they're talking about is watching the reruns. So we've got a lot of viewers that watch the reruns.
Really?
That's where 90%.
Sometimes I think that would be kind of like boring, kind of like watching a Wendy video.
Well, I guess you kind of got to click through, because we don't, it's not like we have a lot of dead air, but we get off on crazy different subjects, sometimes talking about family or whatever. But if you click through and just use the right arrow on your keyboard, or if you're at a computer, and you can kind of catch the good parts.
Hey, Rusty, I got them engines I called you about Friday.
Oh, did you?
Except I didn't take that OS 30 though. We swapped it out with the seller.
Yeah.
For that it's a Super Tiger S40 ring. Pretty nice engine. I just need to get a Venturi for it. But that Max 3, that OS Max 335, that Venturi is huge.
Oh, yeah, it is a big gullet.
At the top of it is 9/16.
What's the lower? The lower is where it's at.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you because it's casted onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much smaller.
Kind of hard to bowl gauge them, but I do have a I do have a tool that measures something like that, like a ball gauge.
It's a tad bigger than the Venturi on my 40 LA, which that ain't saying nothing. Let me look at my 46 LA and see.
Measure it right. You could take the needle valve assembly out of it and then use a ball gauge on it to measure the diameter of that hole down there. I was hoping Charles would come on because I called up Eric Rule, and I had to find out where that center of gravity is on that Crusader. And I found out it's actually 3 1/8 inch. 3 1/8 inches measured from the center of the leading edge back to the behind the spar, about 1/8 of an inch. I'm setting at 3 1/4, so I'm 1/8 of an inch towards the tail heavy. So I'm going to leave it right there. I should be okay with that because I'm the type of flyer that likes to be a little tail heavy anyway.
Let's see. I got a brand new 2025 FP Venturi. Oh, that's way smaller.
Oh, wow, I bet.
Yeah, it's like even a stock Venturi on my 46 LAS is smaller than this one. So, still got a good little pop to it.
It does. It sounds like it's got a great pop to it.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. I'll probably end up keeping that one, but this Super Tiger 40 though, I'm not too sure about. And it was an even swap. You know, I could have got my money back, or traded off for either this engine or a McCoy 35 Redhead, which was kind of beat up. But
I'd be a little dubious about a beat up Redhead McCoy.
Yeah.
I know Sparky says that if you run the right fuel, then they'll last a long time, but no telling what's been put through this engine so far.
This McCoy that I have, I bought it in the late 70s, and I bet you I bet you it hasn't ran more than 12 times. And every time I ran it through, I had a bunch of castor oil in it.
Well, then it probably is in good shape.
Yeah, it is. Boy, it's great running motor. Actually, I mean, I don't know if I've never put it in a stunt pattern. You know what I mean? The only thing I've had it in was the only time I really ever used it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And this combat plane that I got it on. That's about it. But never really tried to set it up for a 4.2 or anything, I guess.
Yeah, I had no idea about that kind of stuff back when I was a kid. Of course, I didn't know 35 size engines existed at that time either.
Oh, I tell you what, I'd love to find me a K&B 35, vintage year 1978 to 1980. I'd love to have one.
I've got it's a torpedo and a K&B, the same thing.
Yeah.
I've got a greenhead torpedo, a couple of them. One's a 35 and one's a 20 something, 29, I think, and a spare crankcase, but I've never really messed with them.
Yeah, I had a 29, but I sold it. But it was a torpedo. And it was a pre-greenhead. It was the regular
Silverhead, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got an odd pressure or press on collet to keep the prop tight.
I got one of them. I got a collet type hub nut, if you call it that. It's takes 2 different wrenches. But I tell you what, by the way it's designed, that sumbitch would never ever, you know, sometimes when you get a back kick,
It'll come loose, yeah.
Back, you know, that'd never loosen up. But
I've quit flying in stunt contests with the spinner on if I can help it. If I don't need the spinner for weight, and I take it off at contests just in case that happens, I'd probably just do a cutthroat if it did, assuming I had an official left.
Man, when I go to events, dude, all my equipment, I go up there and I get up there on the line, I prime my engine, you know, I put the glow starter on, I look at the judge, and as soon as I wave like this, I go boom, and I'm going 1 flip, boom, and I'm off to the races. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I prime and choke while I'm waiting. Like as for instance, 2 weeks ago when I flew, got there, messed around a little bit, fueled up my ringmaster, primed it, choked it. 2 hours later, I go fly. Bing! one flip, good to go.
Yeah.
After like 2 hours.
Like me, I don't fuel my airplane up until when I'm on deck, next man, then that's when I fuel mine up, and you know, to get ready. I've fueled my plane too early, and just sitting out there on the tarmac, and I've actually had fuel just start running inside my motor. Have anybody ever had that happen?
Nope.
No, I clip mine off with those little blue plastic hemostats that I have. So I clamp, I clamp between the motor and the tank so it doesn't do that. Or I got a pressure line too. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, I just don't want to take that chance. So anyway, I got a routine and I stick to it and I don't deviate from it, because if I do, I just get all messed up. But
yeah, that's the ticket. Just do it, whatever.
I got my own little routine, and I don't, no one waits on me. You know what I mean? I'm always prepared, and I know my equipment. That's one thing. I practice so much that I know how to start my engines very easily. Just boom, I'm off to the races and off I go. And it also, you know, it kicks down the stress, you know, no nerves, you know, the nerves are down a little bit more, you know, when you don't have any problems.
I feel mine way ahead of time, actually, man. But like I said, just clamp it off. If it's a bright sunny day, I throw a heavy white rag over the nose of the plane, so you know it doesn't get pressurized in there.
Yeah, I think it's the heat of the sun on that tank. You know, I have a Uniflow, and so you know, I mean, yeah, it's open atmosphere, you know, going into the muffler, but man, I'm just real funny about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In fact, you know, it was great because we got warm weather coming this week, and I'm like, man, I want to fly. And guess what happened yesterday? 3 inches of freaking snow fell.
Oh crap!
Yeah. So yeah, I took a picture. I don't know if you saw Mark Obermeyer's picture from Champaign, Illinois. He took a picture outside his house, man, it's snow. I took a picture this morning of mine from outside and put it on his post also, you know, and said, yeah, this sucks, man. I mean, I'm ready to fly already.
Yeah, it was cold and rainy this morning here, just like winter had come back. But tomorrow is supposed to be much better. In fact, I'm planning to go out. My flying buddy called me earlier today and wants to go fly. So we're gonna give it a try tomorrow.
Lucky ducks.
Degrees by Thursday over here.
How many?
Yeah, next week it's Wednesday or Thursday, it's supposed to be 70s, early 70s, or 70 degrees outside. And then 2 days afterwards, we got snow coming again next weekend. Crazy.
Gerald just sent me an email, said he joined, but they got a bad storm brewing right now, and he's expecting to maybe lose power in his 4G connection. So maybe if it blows over, maybe he can join up with us. And he also said that now that we're unlisted, he can't use the super chat donation button anymore. I hadn't thought of that. I wonder why.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I tell you what, I don't think this Super Tiger was ran much. I could tell it's been mounted. The piston still looks pretty damn decent, but it's super clean. But I could tell one of the little fins, a little chunk of it's missing, but thing.
I think you got a good one there.
Oh, yeah. It's ball bearing, too.
If it feels like it's got a significant pinch at top dead center, I wouldn't flip it over dry too much.
Oh, no, I put a little bit of fuel in it. In the RC carb and in the exhaust. It ain't got a hard bite up top, but it got one.
Yeah. I know the little half A engines like the Norvels, and those have a hard pinch at the top, and you can damage them by flipping them over before they've been run and broken in a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. My super chat with donating money, it's working.
Really?
Yep.
Maybe Gerald was on his phone, because I've heard people with phones can't do the super chat.
Yeah, I'm on my laptop.
Yeah, Gerald usually is on his PC, but he might be on his phone just checking in. Yeah, I see you posted us a message.
Just seeing if you're paying attention.
Yeah, I saw it pop up before you opened your mouth.
Yeah. But it's the it's not the old Super Tigers, I don't think.
Man, that's pretty.
Oh wait, I missed it.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is a better
like
grab than that OS 30 RC.
Is that like a G something? A letter G something in?
I don't even think that. It's a S40.
You thinking about that one, Tom, that Sparky's been putting on his voodoos? G something, D something, something.
G
21, 29, or 21 something, ain't it?
35 or some shit like that.
Yeah, Jim Ballard gave him or sold him one. I don't know which, and I think he's put that on more of them.
But I don't know. I might end up selling this one off. It's like I said, I think it was still a better grab than that OS 30.
I agree with you there, probably so.
I talked to
I gotta get something to drink. Be right back.
I talked to one other person after I called you, and they said it's like it's just a speed demon. You know, it's not real practical. In other words, this one's more versatile than the OS.
That's 30. Yeah, I think that's what I had guessed about it too, is that it was a fast engine, high timed.
But this thing's very clean, but I think this is about the same thing. In fact, Gerald had commented on it.
My first stunt airplane, the shoestring, I put way too much engine on it, and it was just a Thunder Tiger 25 Pro, which was a ball bearing engine, the same type thing. It was made for RC, and it was way too much engine for that little plane. A bush bearing 25 like an LA would have been, a, a good choice, but I didn't know at the time anything about the engines, and I didn't realized that a ball bearing engine was just way out of the ballpark for that plane.
Yeah, Gerald had posted yesterday, said he ran one of these on a Genesis back in the 80s, but lots of power, but it needs a low pitch prop. So
yeah, Ron Hass just said the ST G21 series preceded the S series and then the GS series. Thank you, Ron.
yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I mean, I'm going to hang on to it, but as of right now, I have no use for it because I wanted the other one because I thought it was a regular Max S.
Yeah. Now that would have been great. Those are cool engines.
Yeah, which I had one, and I traded off to Dane, and I wanted another one, but I think that Max 3 might be all right. I'm gonna try to get some more info on that. I might sell both of these just so I can get hotel money for a contest in a few weeks.
What you got there, Tom? Is that jelly beans in that Brock's bag?
No, it's bridge mix. I haven't had that in a long time, and so it was Easter, and I just stole some Easter eggs.
I like Brock's jelly beans.
I won't get caught because I'm down here. I'm down in the basement.
I was in a Walgreens before Easter, and they had a bunch of them, and I got a whole bag of black ones and a whole bag of assorted. I wish they sell whole bags of orange and lemon along with the whole bags of black ones. But I love the licorice ones. I like to eat the sugar off of them until you got nothing but a little ball of jelly there and then chew that up. I guess that makes me kind of weird. Got a special way to eat my candy.
I even got the muffler with this thing. Weird looking muffler.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ron says
let me click on it.
YouTube chat that the STG21 series.
That is a weird looking muffler.
Yeah.
It's got a number on it.
See it again. I'm sorry. I was reading the chat on YouTube.
Ain't no identification on this thing whatsoever. Nothing.
Oh well.
Oh.
You can get that chat box. There's the 3 dots at the top. Click on those and then say pop out chat. And you can drag that chat box by itself wherever you want it and hover over the browser icon on the taskbar, and you can click over and put them side by side with the video.
That's what I did, but I was reading it.
Oh.
I'm going to weigh this engine just to see. I should probably take this big old carburetor off of there. So I'm just going to say that carb is an ounce, give or take. Maybe see how the damn thing comes off.
I bet it's got glue holding it in there.
None would be surprising at this point.
Yeah, might have to heat it up.
Joe, 11.6 ounces.
Wow.
Without muffler.
Oh, man. Well, that's those ball bearings.
Yeah. So, I mean, you figure.
Also a balance issue.
What's that Super Tiger weigh?
That is a Super Tiger.
Oh, the one that you showed? The S series?
Yeah.
But I mean, that being a ball bearing engine, the power it creates, I guess, it kind of makes up for the weight.
Yeah, but as long as the wing loading's there, that's one thing you got to have enough of as the weight rises is wing loading.
Now this Max OS Max 335 is 8.6 ounces. And not that one. Oh yeah, that one's stripped. LA 40 is 9. This is lighter than a 40 LA.
46 is lighter than the 40.
Let's see. I got this 46 with that damn carb still on it, and that big ass remote needle valve. And that's 9.6. So many.
The 46 was 9.6. What'd you say the 40 was?
The 40 was a 9. 2. 9.1. But that other 46 I weighed still had the RC carb on it and the remote needle valve. Shit.
Yeah.
And this one's 8.8. This is brand new.
You gotta send me that one right there. I want that motor right there.
You're a funny guy.
I know it.
Which one? You want this one? Or that one?
The 46. Give me all of them.
Oh, the 46.
Yeah.
Or
Send me all of them, and I'll send you
or you want this one with the aluminum back?
like a Beco 19 or something. Trade you.
Or you want the one that's on my my Cardinal right now?
Just send them all. Just pack them
That
all.
one that's in that blue box that's brand new. It's
Yeah. That. Yep. That's it.
no different than the RC one.
Yep. Just send. I'll convert them over too, so you can send me the RC ones too.
What about this Tom Dixon 40 FP?
Yeah.
Tom put a special touch on that one.
Yeah, well, I got to give it back. My buddy called me last Tuesday morning and said he gave me the wrong engine by mistake.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he thought it was the Tower 40 he was supposed to give me. I was like, damn it.
What engine did he give you wrong?
He gave me a Tom Dixon 40 FP, and he meant me a Tower 40 for my twister.
Yeah, and you didn't mention that it wasn't a Tower 40, huh?
Oh, I looked at it. He walked off. I got it, and I'm like, okay, I guess it's my birthday or something. You know, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Nice guy. You know.
Ain't nothing wrong with a tower.
Oh no. No. And I got this BYO. It says 11.6, but it's actually 11.4 or something. It's cut down and something. I don't know.
Well, it sure don't look like an 11-inch prop.
Huh?
It doesn't look like no 11-inch prop.
No, it's cut down.
I would say.
Yeah, it's cut down. Yeah, because here's the APC 11.4, and you can see it's cut down just a little bit.
Oh wow, it looked
And
like
11.6. So
maybe it's because it's like it's real wide.
Yeah. So it's cut down. It's at 11.4. I think it's cut down.
Probably about a ½ inch.
Yeah.
You can't repitch a wooden prop.
No.
No, you can feather line it, but
Well, I guess you could, if you cut some of the width off, but then that would be totally destroying the good properties of a paddle prop.
yeah, you'd end up like a torpedo prop or a master's air screw prop.
Yeah. Yeah, there's master air screw props. I used to like when I first started flying back, like I was talking about the shoestring. And when I broke the last one I had, they had made them, the new ones were all narrow, considerably narrower, didn't chop near as much air, and it just kind of fell on its face with the same length and pitch.
Yeah.
Using like 9.4s and 9.5s, but with the same pitch, it still didn't chop enough air.
Yep.
I got a care package from Ty Marsucci today.
See you later, Ron. Ron has to leave us.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I got this. I'm not even gonna say this is a Vico spinner. On the inside it says Roxo. I don't know. Somebody etched something. It weighs 1.7 ounces.
More than you would think, isn't it?
This Vico, actual Vico spinner, is 1.2 ounces.
Oh, what's the diameter of that Vico spinner?
Huh?
What's the diameter of that Vico spinner?
2 inches.
Okay. Okay, and you said how much it was?
Which one, the Vico or the knockoff?
The Vico spinner.
1.2.
1.2. And I've got a Vortec. It's a Dave Brown product, aluminum spinner.
You got to count the adapter that goes in there too, because that thing's heavy as lead.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, watch 1.4.
They only cost about 15 or 16 bucks though.
Hey,
Plus,
don't forget to put the nut on the inside of that thing. We're watching you.
they make you buy the adapter separately though. That pisses me off because I bought a new spinner for the Cardinal and it didn't come with the adapter nut, and then they were out of them. The same store was out of them.
It's 1.9.
And that's that nut that makes it that heavy, huh?
Now the Dave Brown acorn nut, you know what I'm talking about? That thing weighs, God, it's about the same, but I think it weighs a little less than that actually.
You see, like, but this one didn't have the nut in it because this one the adapter was broke, but it still had the cone. So here's for the knockoff. That adapter alone weighs 0.1. So add that.
You got the kind with the cone on the front, right?
Oh yeah, the nice pretty one.
Yeah, mine. I got the one that has the
internal adapter.
That has the bolt on it.
That's the one
I've got both adapters, the short and the long.
Yeah.
Well, look at it this way. I put the adapter.
These adapters are heavy, man. The short.
I don't understand why they make them so heavy.
Well, they're made out of steel, and the steel has been hardened to tool steel.
I guess because of what its job is, it has to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of centrifugal force there, spinning around at 9,200 or 10,000 RPM.
Yeah, like this one, I don't know who made this one because it don't have, and it's different.
9.
But
0.7.
The Vico with the adapter nut and the rod and everything, it's 1.3.
Well, I'm setting at 1.7 actually with everything. 1.9. But I tell you what, I've got plans for this aluminum spinner. There's going to be, you know what's going to happen on the back of the spinner is going to be one kick-ass mofo plane on the back of the spinner. That's for my intermediate plane.
Yeah, you see, okay, here's
polish this one up too, man. You'll have to put sunglasses on because the glare from it.
This is a legit Vico right here. This is Vico guaranteed. See, Vico spinner.
Spinner.
And here's, I don't know who makes this one. You can see the back plate's a lot thicker than the Vico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the top is roughly, you can see a difference in them. The knockoff's rounded off. This one's at a point.
That one's got a point, yeah.
So this one, the Vico, I'm actually going to try to polish up and make it look sort of nice and mount it on the Gypsy. Got a question for you two little experts right there.
All right, man. I ain't no expert.
Oh, shut up, sandbagger. And this is going to be a stupid question, really, because I never done it before because I didn't care. The center sheeting on your on my twister. Do y'all silk span the center sheeting if you're going to be monocoating the wings?
No.
Okay. All I need, man.
don't sand it very much. You don't want to thin it any.
Well, I mean, I sanded it to make it, to make it smooth, but that's about it.
I'll tell you what I do though, is I harden some of the inside, especially in front of the spar with thin CA.
Yeah, because I finished up my sheeting last night.
Yeah, I glue all my sheeting together on the table, and then I final sand it 320 or 400 grit, and then I glue it on, and it never gets touched with sandpaper again until after I seal it with balsa. I get my third coat on there, you know, and I'll run some sandpaper, a block on it, just to see how it looks. And then I sheet it with, or put silk span on it or whatever. But yeah, even my leading edge, like you start at the leading edge and you got the sheeting that comes over halfway.
Yeah, to the spar.
All the way down. That's the same way. I don't touch that with sandpaper until it's coated with silk span and primer, and that's when it starts getting sandpaper.
Yeah, see, I do things the long way. I put my center sheeting on the wing piece by piece.
I glue it all together. I pre-fit it, I cut it, pre-fit it, cut it, pre-fit it, until I get it just, perfect. And then it goes on.
Yeah.
And I don't touch it at all. I don't have to touch it with sandpaper, dude.
Me last night, I'm going to put on the last piece, and so I grabbed the push rod. I work it a little bit. I notice it's really, really loose. I look at it, and I didn't even tighten down the ball length on it. So I had to cut out what I had just put on.
Oh, that sucks.
But it's all right. But it's a good thing I redid it because it came out a lot nicer.
Yeah. Like when I put my sheeting on, I'll actually have to take my hand and hold down the center of it a little bit because it's actually just a hair longer. But man, it makes even on my edge, I'll take the backside, and on the edge there, I'll take off that back edge like a 22 degrees. I'll just, that way when it goes on,
yeah,
you push into the existing sheeting that's above it.
Yeah,
you get a seal tight, you can't even see the splice.
Yeah, I make sure it meets at the correct angle too.
Oh yeah.
Barely beveling off that edge.
Yeah, on the backside just makes the biggest difference. Sometimes people, when I started a long time ago, I'd put it on there. I'm like, I know I've measured right. Why in the hell there's a gap? Well, hell, I'd take it off and I'd turn the whole thing on edge, and I'd be like, oh, I didn't have when I cut, my knife was at an angle.
Yeah.
So actually the other side was longer than the top side. Yeah. You find them little tricks, them little things right there make a huge, huge difference, I think, in the finishing product. How much work you got to do in finishing.
It didn't come out too bad, though.
Looks good.
Yeah.
The second time I built my twister wing, I made the edges of the sheeting curved so that they, like where it comes up to the front, it curved out and met the lead edge, and the same thing at the trail edge, they curved out. And the one main reason I did it is because it looks cool, and the other reason is just because that's a little bit less of a stress riser as the forces work up and down on the wing. But the kits never show it that way. And I just see other people doing it on the forums, and I decided I like the way that looks. So when I broke the first wing on my twister, and last winter when I rebuilt the new one, I did it like that.
You didn't put any shear webbing in there.
What, on mine?
Yeah.
No. Don't need to. Not on a stock twisting.
Got shear webbing in the trail edge, and I've got the half ribs in front, so I don't have any shear webbing in the spars, in the main spars.
I didn't do no shear, none. All stock except for the minimal modifications.
Maybe I can't remember now. I could have put the first 4 bays with shear web, but that's all it needs anyway, if you want to put it in. But for just I mean, it doesn't have to have that.
What?
Unless you're shear webbing. I mean, granted, there is an advantage in having shear webbing, but for just beginners and intermediates that are probably gonna, bang them up, shear webbing probably helps do more damage than it saves.
My theory is, as being a beginner, is building is just start getting in the habit of building the plane. You know what I mean? The way an advanced or build. Point taken. But hey, Gerald, but I'm never going to enter a contest that has let's just say I'm never going to enter a contest with either appearance points where the slightest details matter. I still try to make them pretty as I can, but as far as structurally, there's some things that the experts do that I might omit, like shear webbing on that twister at the spars, because they probably do more damage in a crash than they would if you. One thing I like about the shear webbing is when you're covering the wing, either monocoat or dope cover, it helps keep the stress from the washout, the twist. And like if after you get done building, you might have a nice straight wing looking down it, but you got a washout. And you can actually, when you put that shear webbing on there, you completely, utterly can take the washout out. And it just makes the wing so much strength, but with just a little bit of wood.
I think my trail edge shear webbing all the way down.
I only go like 3 or 4 bays out, just out to the outboard and to the inboard wing,
Yeah, from what I hear, that's all it needs.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Gerald, so is your storm blown over?
Hi, Jamie. Oh, it's going to get worse, they said. By midnight, it should be blowing about 45 knots, they said.
So you got like a tropical storm coming through or something like that?
Sort of like that. I think it's more of one of our Arctic storms now that or Antarctic storms now that we're going into winter. It's one of those ones that are blowing up from the south. And so, yeah, it normally means we lose our power at some point. So I thought, I'll come on tonight, see what happens. If we lose the router, the 4G router, then I'm out.
Yeah. Antarctic storm. That sounds exciting. I've never been in an Antarctic storm before.
All the same. It's just yucky. But yeah, we're giving our good weather over to the northern hemisphere and saying hello to winter now. So we had a windy weather on the weekend. We're all trying to fly regardless of the wind, and Otto crashed. He was trying to do a takeoff and the wind caught him, and another guy we were flying with, the wind caught him, and we had terrible turbulence off some buildings and trees, and we're all fighting just to stay alive, let alone do nice patterns. But you get that when the weather turns.
Survival mode.
Yeah. Just listening in a bit then as I was hooking up and the shear webbing thing. When I built my Viking vintage model without any webbing in it, shear webbing, the wing was just so floppy. It was like a bit of chewing gum. And once I put the webbing in, that made all the difference. It really stiffened it up. But
I think it does.
Yeah.
But I fit my webbing in, I think, different than other people do. But I cut my webbing so it's directly above and underneath the 2 spars. That actually fits inside. And everything is square, and it goes down the side of the rib and the whole 9 yards. Some people just take it and put it on the back side of the spars and go straight down, and that's it.
Yeah, face mounting it. it's I don't know if it's as effective face mounted as it is the way you do it. It's more like an I-beam type thing when you put it in.
Right. That's the same principle idea, the theory that I got of putting that webbing that way is because it's an I-beam.
I have heard from more knowledgeable builders than me that if you are prone to crashing, then face mounting is a better idea because it doesn't do as much damage in a crash.
What's that? The webbing?
The face mounted webs will just pop off instead.
I see. I see what you mean. Yeah.
That sounds good because it's much easier mounting them that way. I know the free flighters, those competition free flighters that we've got in our club, like to do it all perfect like Tom, and they try to get it between the spars and have it butting up to the ribs, whereas I'm sloppy. I just bung it on the end and I don't even necessarily join it onto my ribs. If I can't be bothered, I'll just leave a gap. And as I get further out to the tips, the spacing will get bigger and I don't bother as much. But I'm a bit of a sloppy builder.
I really take my time on that webbing. I mean, I get it. If it's not perfect, I just redo it and do another one. I take a lot of time on that shear web.
Yeah, well, this plane ain't gonna last long enough to where it would matter. I'm gonna be learning the pattern with it, so I expect it to bite the bullet.
That's a great plane. That's a great plane to learn to fly patterns with.
It sure is. It's a great freaking airfoil.
And the great thing about it, a wing kit's only $30.
Hey, June 2nd, I'll be picking up a twister wing kit, a laser cut. I'm going to build me another. That'll be next winter, but I'm going to build me another bi-directional flap system. Then I'm going to use that wing kit to do that because that's what I did with the first one. That'll be a fun build for you to see.
What's the weight goal for this one? 79 ounces instead of 80?
Huh?
What's the weight goal for that one? 79 ounces instead of 80?
Hey, it's got a new weight, dude. It got some fat trimmed off of it and more power. It's setting at 62.3 now, dude. Or 63.2. I'm sorry, dyslexis there. 63.2 now. So that's quite a bit of, that's quite a bit of ounces. That's almost 10. That's 10 ounces I took off that thing. A bigger motor, more power, and 10 ounces off of it. I just think that's just awesome. I can't wait to see how it flies, man.
Yeah, it's always nice when you can trim off some ounces in a refinish or a rework. Yeah, it's a great experience to see a dog go to something agile. Get it. I had an old Duchess biplane, and it was really heavily finished. And I stripped it all off and recovered it, and I took off. It was something like 500 grams. I don't know what it is in ounces, but it was a huge amount of weight, and it flew really well. Yeah.
Well, got my fingers crossed, but this using the bi-directional flap system, that puts a lot of weight behind the CG. So this next plane that I do, I've already got it figured is the nose moment is going to be a little longer, and then I shouldn't have to worry about that being tail heavy.
I'm sorry, Tom, but can you explain the bi-directional flap system?
Yeah. In fact, I can show you a picture of it. Hang on a minute.
Gerald, now that you are on the PC, can you see the super chat sign at the bottom of the chat box on the YouTube page?
Not on the. When I've tried to use the super chat, it just said it can't be used unless it's a public.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I hadn't actually clicked on it, but I can see it on mine. I thought maybe it was not visible to you. Hey, Steve.
Hey,
this wing is 10.4 ounces right now, not covered, but that's the wing and the flaps.
Did you like the wood that was in that wing kit?
For the twister?
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. The ribs were cut out pretty nice. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't have to sand much off of it, you know, like the usual die crunch or anything.
Yeah.
So, are you gonna cover it with silk and dope? You're covering it with Monaco.
Monocoat. I'm gonna monocoat the bays. I'm gonna Rust-Oleum on the center sheeting, and then Rust-Oleum on the fuselage or the entire fuselage. No hell.
Do you have any of that Tom Morris polyspan?
Nah, I got the doctor paper.
If you take that polyspan and put it on first, and then put the monocoat on top of that, you won't believe how strong that wing will be.
Really?
It won't twist, nothing. We did that on a Banshee, and it's just hard to believe them two things together, how much strength it adds. But it was on the forum that combat guys were doing it.
And what we normally do is use the mylar, the combat mylar, and then put the tissue over the top of the mylar. That way your dope doesn't soak into the structure, it sits on the mylar. So you don't need to use as much paint or dope.
Yeah, there's that's one way with the silk and dope. But if you're going to use monocoat, what I do is get 6 sticks it, put it around the edges. Well, Samantha did it because she had to build the airplane, but we put 6 sticks it around the whole outside. Took one long piece, ran it out, and then she just ironed it down over all the outside edges. We took all the wrinkles out with a hair dryer, which there wasn't many anyway. And then we used nitrate dope and went around on all the wood, stuck it to all the wood, ironed on the monocoat, and it's still, there's never been a wrinkle in the airplane, and that wing there's no twist. It makes it so strong with them fibers glued to that monocoat. It's just unbelievable.
It must be a similar thing. It's a mixture of the rigidity of the shrunken plastic and the tissue together. They just seem to work well in unison with each other. A lot of those systems seem to work incredibly well in terms of giving you a structure. Even this little model here, that's got my scale model. That's got a mylar underneath and tissue on top, and it's an extremely rigid wing.
Yeah.
It never occurred to me to put 2 layers of different material down like that.
Samantha got some sanding done tonight.
All right.
Brought it in, but it's just still hard to believe how many places we're still going to have to fill. 90% of it's good, but there's like little.
You got that? You got that spot putty?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like on this side of the fuselage or the tail, all these joints came out perfect. On the other side, you can feel them all, and it's like I don't understand that. Well, you can feel a little bit of that joint right there, but most of it's just perfect on one side, and the other side you're gonna have to put some putty in it. I don't know why it would shrink.
That's the way it is, man. You know, it's like, boy, I got to get the top side of my plane. That's what I want to really get really perfect, you know? No, it's always the opposite for me. I get the bottom side perfect, and the top side, that's where I get errors, you know? And I'm like, God.
I've always got a designated pretty side and a designated ugly side.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm trying to keep the bottom side designated ugly. You know what happens? It's always the top gets it.
Which one do you do first? You do the top or the bottom?
Girl, I'm going to share the screen, and I'll show you the picture here. You see it?
And yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's the system. right here, can you see my arrows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 2 bolts there that are panhead bolts, Allen type. You unscrew that and that cap comes off, and there's a rod that goes all the way down. And then there's another rod that goes all the way down right here in the wing.
Now, what airplane is that for?
That's that's my P-40 that I built 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And this is a twister wing right here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, because open bay in the front.
Yeah, let's see. That is a deal where, you know, for my drive, I wanted a little more strength, so I added plywood in there. But that's looking at it when it's up position, and that's the down position.
Did you like them kind of flaps?
Pardon?
Did you like that flap system?
Well, I tell you something, it's got authority. It's the tightest radius turning airplane that I got, but the airplane is heavy. So, you know, and the first one that I built, it's nice to see. You can see the rod right here.
Oh, yeah.
That
rod goes full. Yeah, you'd have to figure out how to get just a piece of rod in there.
Oh, yeah, it goes all the way through. Bing, 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 bing.
Is there any way just to eliminate the rod going all the way through and just have it stick out?
No, because when you're moving the flap up and down, this angle, it changes. I mean, it's there for the ride, but it's gotta be copacetic with this one here.
Oh, okay.
This here, like see,
if you use the carbon fiber rod.
I get it from a company, CST. In fact, I'll show you the CST. Well, I ain't got it. Yeah.
Oh, that rod is carbon fiber?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's light then. I thought that was a piece of music wire. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder the plane was heavy.
No, it's carbon fiber rod, and right here on the wing trailing edge,
yeah,
is a aluminum tubing. Can you see the aluminum tubing right there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what catches it. That's what catches that's the carbon fiber rod. So actually, you've got 2 pieces that are 24 inches long. So that's a total of, you got 8 feet of carbon fiber rod in a 4 foot long wing.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here.
Yeah, I know that was like that velvet that God, I can't think of that guy's name.
That gives you a different view of it.
Who laser cut that?
Pardon?
Who laser cut that?
The hinges?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's something I buy from Wesley Dick. He's the one.
Okay, that's who made that velvet.
Yeah, he's the one that's got the hinge system.
Yeah.
I just put it on a different airplane.
Oh, okay.
Is what I did instead of a velvet, but this is the stages of it. I mean, that's the tubing right there.
Thanks, babes.
But I tell you what, that was really hard to do was the block hinges. I'll show you what them look like. The block hinges are right here.
Yeah.
You got to make these blocks, and inside these blocks is got little pieces of aluminum tubing. And plus you're putting a notch in a structural part of a wing.
Yeah.
So you know you've got to put that strength back in it. So these hinge blocks are the hardest, to me, was the hardest point of doing this, of making this system work, of installing this system, is what I'm trying to say.
That's pretty incredible.
A lot of work there. Yeah. Very impressive.
A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to do that much work, but hey, man, so what? I mean, I wanted to do it, and it was fun.
Well, you build 24 hours a day, though.
I know. Well, sometimes. But
Yeah.
let's see. That's
Oh
it.
yeah, there's that system that he has with all the.
Now this is Dave from Alex Strega. He sent me some pictures because we was building at the same time, but he didn't get his finished at all. And let me tell you, he his plane turned out really freaking heavy, man.
Did it?
Oh man, oh yeah. Well, he took it to Brodak, but he couldn't fly it, because it was way tail heavy. But I tried to tell him that, before he went there and he had it. I told him, I said, man, check your CG. I said, it's going to be tail heavy because the Velvet, it was designed for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he had all that, the nose moment and all the weights figured in. So what he put behind the CG was all added to the nose so the airplane would balance out.
Yeah.
And that's where I made my mistake, because when I got the system, I wasn't thinking about that.
So you're going to be flying this weekend when the weather's up to 60?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Dude, I just got 3 inches of snow yesterday.
Yeah, we're supposed to all be gone by this weekend. It was snowing here today.
Well, it's supposed to be like in the 70s on Thursday, and then this weekend I got more snow.
Oh shit! Well, you're gonna fly Thursday then.
Okay. Well, here we'll see what the weather is right now.
I think that they made skis for the Stuka.
Okay, man.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen again if you don't mind, but anyway, here's what we got. This is our weather here, dude. This is in well, I live in Avon, but the nearest place to get our information is Macomb. Let's see. I'm setting the elevation at 679 feet above sea level. Look, Thursday's the only day I got, man. 72.
Oh,
Wednesday's supposed to be 68.
And look at Friday. It's supposed to rain, and Saturday it's raining, and Sunday it's raining. Monday maybe mostly sun, mostly clear. Man, yeah, our weather sucks, man.
Well, my flying expedition is tomorrow. I think the weather's supposed to be pretty good. It was terrible.
Who are you going out with, Rusty?
Wayne called me up today and
Okay.
said he wanted to go out, so I'm gonna meet him out there after lunch.
Oh yeah, you've got some good flying in.
Hope so.
And once your confidence back on that, using that leg and stuff, you ain't gonna have no problem. I mean, you look good out there flying, so
Yeah, and
you stayed right on the dot out there in the circle and everything else. You weren't wandering.
Yeah.
I was watching that because they said that people wander on that circle and hit trees or something. I don't know.
if you fly long lines, you do. But yeah, I think flying a 5-second lap will be a whole lot easier than flying a 4-second lap too. I just was worried about, and after thinking about it, after having done it, I think my biggest fear is falling down on that asphalt and either cracking my head or re-breaking a leg. Yeah.
Oh, I know it. I feel for you. I was giving you a hard time, but you were doing good. But yeah, I don't blame you for, after going through all that, you don't want to hurt her again. It makes you a little gun shy.
What happened if we wrap you up in bubble wrap, dude?
There we go.
I think I maybe should get a football helmet. I'd have a hard time doing overheads with a football helmet on, though.
We'll get you a football helmet and put tin foil all over it. To
Yeah.
keep the bad rays or whatever.
Vibes out, yeah. I don't know, but I'll give y'all a flight report on Friday night and tell you how it goes tomorrow.
well, it's good to know you again. Yeah.
You gonna do some recording?
I don't know. I'll take the camera with me as I always do, and if I get it out, I get it out. I probably will, because I think I'll.
If he looks good, he'll show us. If he doesn't, he never got it out.
Well, that's not true. Now, if you know my history of videoing, I showed a good and a bad equally. So
I'm just kidding with you.
You're just shitting me, but no, I'll take it, because y'all aren't the only ones that are would be interested in seeing videos of me making my comeback. So yeah,
well, I seen it. You know, when was that? Thursday? Yeah, I guess it was Thursday.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're not going to have a problem. You just got to get your confidence back. But you were flying good, and I mean that fast, and your reflexes are there. You didn't get dizzy.
No, when I did, I just stopped and did those long back and forth lazy eights. You know, just go shoulder to shoulder, and that my dizziness immediately stopped. And I flew about 5 or 6 inverted laps backwards too. Didn't have any problem with that either. It's the overheads that worry me. So I'll work up to it. You know, I'll start easing into wing overs and seeing how it is. It's the pull out, or when I'm straight up top, and on the downside is when I get off balance.
Yeah.
And so I'll work up. I won't just jump right in and try to fly a whole pattern right away, but I'll be safe. But yeah, I'm kind of anxious to try it. Wayne's going to bring a plane of his design that is a foam wing plane with no flaps that can take 1 pound and let me fly that, and so that'll help me too, probably, because I really don't want to take my flagship. You know, I hadn't got any planes except for my flagship contest planes that'll fly a decent pattern. I couldn't fly a decent pattern on that shoestring if I had to, but you know, I don't want to bash up the twister in the P40, so I'll take that foam wing stunter he's got and put it to work and get my legs back under me. No rush, but I'll you know, get a few flights in and see how I feel, and I'll be better when the contest comes than I am now, I expect, because 3 weeks ago I'm way better now than I was 3 weeks ago. I seem to be improving by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Some days are good and some days are bad too. When contest time comes, I just gotta hope that it's a good walking day and not a bad walking day.
Well, normally warmer weather means less arthritis pain, and you generally perform better when.
Yeah, that'll be hugely different too. That'll make a big difference.
So Gerald, is this starting into your big building time for the year then, in the winter there?
You should be, yeah. I should be trying to get more built, but I just had that Fox Hawk that I wanted to use on my Magnum, and I thought I'll try and get my other Hawk sorted out. And if I get a good run out of that, I've sleeved down my little Venturi. I've put JB Weld in it. I'll give that a go with my Hawks Venturi. I'll go to a 13.4 prop. I got some new props just today from Hobby King, and I'll see how a 13.4 works on it. And if I can get the Hawk working well, then I'll carry on with my Magnum, knowing my engine is gonna run okay. But if it keeps running away on me like it has been recently, I'll revert back to using a Fox Eagle. But,
yeah, you might have to throw a head shim in the on
Hawk,
that cylinder.
Yeah, that would probably help too. Yeah.
Because I know that a lot of them Foxes in that time ran real good on. I don't know if you're running no nitro or how much nitro you're running, but 10%. You might want to try some 0 or 5% to see if that helps a little bit.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, I can easily do that.
Doesn't an engine with more nitro run cooler than an engine with less nitro?
Yeah, but Duke, there for a while, there was a certain year when some of them engines were made that nitro was expensive, or the fuel was expensive with nitro, and he was sitting there making like FAI engines. Yeah. And I got a Fox 78, and you can't put any nitro in it. I even had my brother take and redo the head, like Fox had to do to give more clearance. You know, it was a different kind of design how he did it.
Lower
but
the
it still won't run on nitro. It's just way over compressed for nitro. It just gives it way too much power and makes it run away.
I got to step away for a second. I'll be right back.
I had to go with more oil and less nitro and got it running fairly good.
Yeah, I'm just about ready to say more, you know, maybe put more castor oil in it.
Yeah.
I'm running about 25 castor already, but
oh yeah, that's up there pretty good though. But yeah, you might try less nitro or throw a head shim in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come up with a head shim and
hey, remember that I used to run K&B used to have some fuel. It used to be like K&B 1000, K&B 500.
Yeah. Yeah, 500 was 5%, 1000 was 10%.
Yeah, well, the reason why I said the K&B 500 with 5%, man, that made a Fox run good.
Well, I used to run a 13.6 prop on it, and it couldn't run away. It was too much load, but it got too hot. And dropping down to a 12.6 got rid of my overheating problems. The Fox was a lot cooler with the 12.6, less load, and that's why I thought I'll try the 13.4. And I can run away a bit faster, and I'll still hold my speed down and hopefully have a bit more torque in maneuvers, because I'm sort of losing too much speed in maneuvers, running away in level flight. But it wasn't really an ideal stunt motor to begin with, but I've begged them to use the Hawk, and I'll give it a go. I'll try the 2 changes initially, and then I'll bring along some 5% fuel and try that as well. Give that a go. But yeah,
see what that does, because I know one thing. People say whatever they want about Duke when he built his engines, but he could build a lot of power into stuff when he wanted to. He could really make them for RC. I mean, that was like his first Schnurly motor with the steel liners, but that damn thing, it took a long time for people to come up with another engine that would outperform it.
Yeah, they're quite impressive. A really nice run in terms of horsepower, but it's controlling the run. That's what I want to do now.
Exactly. Yeah, he made them with a lot of power. I think once you get it figured out, though, that thing should just purr for you.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was flying on the weekend. I was also flying my old Enya 45 on a model that I set up for the boys to fly. It's a foam wing. It's a bit like a Gotcha 3, Gotcha Streak with the fuselage on it. And the Enya 45, I've sleeved it right down with a tiny Venturi like you'd have on an OS 25. And that does a beautiful run. No power there, but it's a beautiful run. It's just so predictable. It's just a real pussycat. Fly it through the maneuvers, and it never really speeds up. It just keeps on pushing along like it's a 4-stroke.
Yeah.
But it's no power like the Fox. The Fox feels like it's got 3 times as much horsepower as it tries to pull your arm off, but it's just it's doing it the way you want it though. With the Enya, it's a really nice run, but it can only really fly a small light model. It's not got the power reserves to fly a big model. That's where a lot of those more modern motors are really putting out huge horsepower, but it's tame horsepower with their big 77s and things. And
I think it was on Stunthangar there. They were talking about I don't know if it was David Fitzgerald or whatever on his PA 75. How small of a Venturi he runs on that?
Yeah. I remember hearing, or maybe I remember us talking
25 size, but now he does have a pipe, and I don't know if that makes it pull more fuel through that. But yeah, he doesn't run. I mean, it's just a tiny Venturi.
Yeah. Well, the standards, the old Super Tiger 60 had a tiny Venturi. It was 0.265. So it was like a 6mm Venturi. They were very small. And when I used them in other motors, like my brother Carl used them in the K&B 61, and it really controlled the motor run really well, that tiny Venturi.
Yeah.
And that we used the S45. I was going to talk to Steve before. Oh, not sorry, Jamie before. Jamie, he got an S45, and I was just saying that they run really well with the right Venturi. I'd been communicating with him on Stunthangar about it. My brother was an advocate of the old Super Tiger S motors. I ran an S40 on a what do they call Bob Hunt's Genesis many moons ago now, back in the 80s, and it was a nice motor. But again, I was using the tiny little Venturi that Super Tiger used on the 60.
Yeah, I bought a Enya 45 God, I don't know what number it is. If it's a 4 or a 5 or a 3 or I got one of them, but I bought it for $20, and I want to see if I can. It's got really good compression and all that. The guy said it wasn't run much, but it doesn't seem to be. There ain't a lot of caster burn on it or anything else. It looks, super clean. So I'm going to see how that does.
Yeah.
I haven't played with it yet or put it on anything.
Yeah, I've used a few in your 45s. You get the early one that's got a plain bearing, and that's the 001 is the model, and it's the very early ones have got a bald head, no fins on them, and then later on they had fins on the head, still had a plain bearing, and then the later ones had twin bull races, and it's still called a 001.
Yeah, I think mine has bearings, ball bearings.
Yeah. Yeah, some have got the bypass is like a rectangular shape, and some are a wide tapered shape. The wide taper shaped one has got a heavier case. It's the 6002. It's a lot more powerful, but it has timed a bit higher for more for RC pattern use.
Oh, okay.
And so the later one's a lot heavier. It's like another ounce or so heavier than the earlier one. But yeah, they're all nice motors. They're very well made, built to last. So,
what did your Stuka weigh out at, Tom?
Mine, let's see, 32.8.
All up, ready to go?
Yep.
Holy shit! Well, you build light. I tell you what, 42 on that big plane, and
Well, the gobble swans. Well, that was already built. So. I take my hat off to him for building it lightweight. But when I talked to Eric Rule a couple days ago, Saturday. That kit was a laser kit, and just putting it together, it should have been lightweight as it is anyway. So I'm glad it's lightweight. But I'm pretty well. This paint here is really light, dude.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna try.
We're looking at 1.5, 1.7 ounces for a color.
I told us before, Tom, but did you make the landing gear on that plane?
Yeah.
It looks nice. Yeah, it looks very effective.
What kind of?
I took out a lot of weight by doing that. You get a closer look up if you want.
Now, what kind of aluminum do you even know? Did you choose a specific type?
No, I'm sorry. Maybe when you said did I make it? No, this is one that come with the kit.
You just lightened it,
right? All I did was I just lightened it, and let me tell you, that took a lot of weight out of them aluminum.
Yeah. I don't know what all those numbers mean that are associated with different types of metals and alloys, like T6061 and all that stuff. I don't really know how to.
This is probably 4075 aluminum, probably, but the difference numbers is how it's when it's poured, if it's pressed, if it's annealed, which is like a ball peening operation. Actually, it's like shooting BBs at it.
That's to work harden it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that to work harden it?
Yeah. It's a pretty amazing technology how they could do aluminum nowadays, because working on jet fighters, you're like, wow, that's how many thousands of pounds that this aluminum's got hanging on it. You're like, this is just unreal.
Manipulating the molecular structure of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, what they've done with aluminum now is it's very scientifically produced, and yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, look at it nowadays. I mean, actually, Ford come out with a truck. Aluminum body. I mean, aluminum's come a long ways from what it used to.
Yeah, India there, quit making that XZ with XZS and stuff like that, because he couldn't get the aluminum anymore for the cylinders.
Wow.
Because he got it from Russia, and they stopped letting them take that aluminum out of the country. But it was something for aerospace, and then and you could chrome it, or he didn't actually chrome it. He some kind of silicone carbide or whatever hooked to it, whatever he had on there. Well, that's what he calls his ABC. That C is carbide.
Now I did make this, and I don't know. I mean, to me, I like making things, the stuff that I already have, plus I recycle things, But I mean, how much are the 1 to 2 or 3 degree engine plates? How much are them? What, $15?
Yeah,
Somewhere around there. Look at that.
oh yeah.
That's my old frying pan.
Oh,
You
that's,
on a diet too? You quit smoking, now you quit eating?
Oh, yeah, that's my old frying pan.
Was that-
I just cut the bottom out of it, and yeah, man, it's great for motor plates. I mean, that's what I used on that Crusader.
I didn't even think about that because I just threw a damn frying pan away because the Teflon took it on
I
it.
mean, here's a different thickness frying pan right here. This is 16th,
Oh, okay.
and this is 1/8 inch.
oh, that's exactly, man. It's really excellent.
I'm going to remember that instead of just throwing them in the trash.
Yeah, well, hey, man, let me tell you, a chunk this big making motor mount plates, that's going to last you a long time.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure, you got the right thickness pan, but in the thickest part of the pan is right, the flat part in the middle.
So how's that go? If you cut up your frying pan for motor mounts, you may be a sunflower.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, that's a good one. Yeah. Hey.
Now I got an old water heater sitting out there I can test paint on, and now I know what to do with my old frying pans.
That's right. Yeah.
My neighbors are going to be bitching. I'm going to have just this old crap all around and say, man,
Hey, I could also show you some other stuff that I use these here are starter shims to go in vehicles, go in cars.
Yeah.
Man, they're great for making control horns.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
I love them. And also I've got the Stuka here because I got my nose cone all done, and I'm like, oh man, looks great, right? Well, I noticed one thing. I forgot to put my engine plates in. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna throw everything off. So I just used 20 thousandths thickness starter shim for motor plates. I mean, it's not as 1/8 of an inch, but that steel plate, man, it'll hold up.
Well, yeah, it's basically just kind of like a big washer, so it just distributes the pressure.
Yeah.
over the wood.
From compressing the wood.
Yeah.
Correct. Right into the wood. Yep. So, and a lot of times, man, I just look around and see what I have on hand.
Well, that was a good idea I had with an old spinner back plate, wasn't it? That you put sandpaper on it and.
Yeah, man.
It was an old redneck thing I came up with.
In fact, that's right here.
Yeah. It works
right
well.
there, I love it. And the only thing is, I got this for free, but the guy told me I had to take the motor with it.
Oh.
The motor is all locked up, and actually, tell you the truth, I kind of looked at it and I'm like, man, all that motor needs is just disassemble it and soak it and clean it up with some brushes and
yeah. A lot of people give them up for dead. A lot of people give them up for dead, and that's all they need.
I know it. So I was like, I told the guy, I was like, I was kidding with him. I was like, I don't want the spinner then if I got to take the motor. And he's like, oh, that's the only way it's going to go. And I'm like, oh, man, are you kidding me? This thing looked bad. So I got me a free motor, actually.
I took my shoestring up to Huntersville last Thursday. The engine wasn't completely locked, but it was completely stiff. So when I got up there, the first thing I did was put some fuel down the Venturi and put some behind the drive plate behind the prop and put a little in the exhaust, and it loosened right up and cranked up. I put the I put the battery on it and burned off all that fuel I had just loosened it up with, and she was ready to go.
Yeah, it doesn't take too much to free up a stuck mode, but people do give them up.
It's a rough looking one.
What is it?
I don't know. What the hell does that say on there? Can you see?
Oh, it's a Craft. It's Craft 60.
Yeah.
I'd boil that in some antifreeze.
Oh, I know exactly. I what I was gonna do was I've got an old crock pot I saved.
I'd get a different muffler though, because I don't think that's gonna flow much exhaust.
Yeah, it looks like it's
I love that.
Oh,
got an impact.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So
oh, I see. It looked like the stinger was plugged. I'm like, that ain't gonna work for the shit.
Yeah, got a bolt in it. I guess it runs the whole length of it, holds it together.
Oh, okay.
There's a piece here, but yep. Hey, you know when you you're a stunt pilot is when you keep your old crock pots around to clean your motors.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
I got that. It's not Wicked Clean. What? Shit, I can't think. Comes in a can, and you can put it on the motors, and it'll clean them right up. I can't think what they call it now, but Brodex sells it.
Hey, I tell you another thing that works really well on cleaning, getting some caster off if it isn't too bad, is oven cleaner.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Spray on there on the outside, and then I've got a brass wire brush, and you just sit there lightly and just.
what is oven cleaner made out of? That's some pretty wicked stuff, isn't it?
It's caustic.
Oh, I'd have to read it. I mean, it's probably got some type of etching capability. It's probably got some type of acid in it.
Now it's probably a caustic. Usually, caustics you put on and you heat them up.
Basic, yeah.
Yeah, it's a caustic soda.
Yeah, I've used oven cleaner even on engines, car engines, trying to clean up the top end of it so I can see what the hell I'm doing.
Probably got sodium hydroxide or something like that.
Maybe.
I could ask my son what oven cleaner's made out of, or I guess I could look it up online. I don't have to go ask him.
When I worked for that paint company, they cleaned stuff. They got real dirty with caustic. And then once the big tank of caustic got real dirty, they'd let the Grand Rapids know because they loved it. They'd have it go a certain way or whenever they did it because they had to capture it. But it just cleaned pipes out. Flicker.
I'd like to make a little ultrasonic, and I could probably do it with I got a palm sander I could probably affix to some stationary heavy object and put a pan on top of it and turn it on. That'd probably, I don't know if it'd be ultrasonic. It would certainly be sonic though, but that vibration in a fluid, hook it to a pan of fluid and vibrate it.
What I did was like when I was doing, man, I've rebuilt thousands of carburetors on cars, and I'd put them in a basket and dip them in a vat and let them soak. But agitating that liquid is the key.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I took copper tubing and I wrapped it in a coil it looks just like an electric stove, on an electric stove. And then what I did
that
was
6 hertz vibrated, huh?
Huh?
Keep going. I'm sorry.
And then what I did was I went an inch apart and drilled a hole, an inch apart, all the way around in the circle, all the way around that. And then on the end of my copper, I put a compression fitting on there, and I put an air fitting on it so I could shoot some compressed air down in that solvent. And man, I had a little valve. I could regulate how much air I wanted to come up through there, and I'd just get that shit boiling. So instead of me, I had so many carburetors to do that some mornings I'd come in and I'd have a stack of them on my bench, and I'd probably do 15 to 20 carbs a day. Wow. And I would just, instead of 2 to 4 hours of soaking to make the carburetor completely clean, it was 30 minutes to an hour.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried carb cleaner? You know, the bucket like you used to be able to get at Napa to clean an
Yep. And I tell you, it works. But if you can agitate it like with air, to get it boiling and keep it moving,
like super power.
I tell you what, it cleans really super fast.
That's like I had my gallon bucket of carb cleaner, and I was going to try to clean an RC engine with it. Well, a guy bought an old Coleman, some kind of lantern or something from whatever, and the stuff had gummed up something. So I let him. I said, "Well, I'll let you use my carb cleaner." So I asked him. I said, "Did it work?" And he said, "Yeah, it worked. I got a little bit going through it, stuff like that." I said, "Well, I need it. You know, bring that back." He goes, "I threw it away because it's got antifreeze on top of it. I don't know how it got contaminated." I'm like, "Oh my God, that's on there to keep it from evaporating."
Here's the thing: the antifreeze and the solvent. I don't know what's heavier. I think the antifreeze is on top and the solvent's on the bottom, but I'm not sure. But you can drain that shit off there, man.
Well, no, the antifreeze came with it. It keeps the stuff from evaporating. He threw my whole gallon of good carb cleaner away.
Yeah, I had a big tub of it.
I've never ever heard of that.
Yeah, and I did that in the past. I had a big a metal container with all this carb clean in. The only thing is it will dissolve plastic. So if you hadn't taken every plastic piece out of the carb, your accelerator pump cams or something, then it would eat them too. It would lunch anything plastic. So after doing it with airplane motors and eat the Teflon pads and things, so I did stop using it.
Oh, okay.
Some plastics, yeah. You gotta watch what you put in it, but
paint off real nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, the carburetor when I was done, it looked brand new.
Yeah. Yeah, I would see if I can find that engine cleaner stuff I got.
But I've never tried the antifreeze and the crock pot deal, but I'm going to anyway.
Yeah, I never have either.
I mean, some guys, also say you can do that. You can do the same thing with automatic transmission fluid.
I've got a jar of old fuel I keep for soaking engines in, but I'm never in any hurry. I'll drop one in it and come back and check on it in a week or two.
I was wondering what apple cider vinegar or apple vinegar would do.
White vinegar would probably be a better idea. It doesn't have as many solids in it, but yeah, that's a pretty mild acid. Acetic acid.
I mean, sometimes I've got cast iron frying pans, and I've got one of my favorite small ones. Great for eggs and bacon, but it was all rusted. Yeah, it was for throwaway, and I said, "Hey, give me that sumbitch." Well, I set it in a cooler. I had one of them styrofoam coolers. And I set that thing in there for a week. Come back out, hell, it looked brand new.
No shit.
Yep.
You mean just empty, nothing but the air in there, and
just put the pan in there and just I put a gallon of apple vinegar. And, you thought I just put it in the styrofoam container?
Yeah, like wow, magic box.
All of a sudden, just come clean. No.
Another one most people have got around their houses that's good to cook them up and get your old pot, and then put in a bit of dishwasher powder, and then strip your motor down, and it takes the carbon off. I often do that when I've got a motor that's really carboned up. Just boil it on the stove with some dishwasher powder, and it's pretty mild. It'll take off the carbon.
Hey,
But
that's a good idea. Dishwashing powder and what do we got here?
Demon Clean.
Oh my!
Demon clean.
That's
Look at
stuff.
that little devil.
Yeah, I called it. What did I call it? Devil something, but no, it's Demon Clean. But yeah, Brodak had it. We used to use it a long time ago, and I can't find it online or anything. I don't know where he gets it from, but
You dilute it?
no, there's a little brush in the can.
Just paint it on, huh?
Yeah, this one didn't. No, this one didn't have a brush, so I just take an acid brush and dip in there and put it on. And
What's it say? Is there a what's it say for ingredients? It should on by law there should have a label or something on there, because you got to be able to get a hold of a material data sheet. If you guys ever do that? You guys ever get a hold of material data sheets?
A lot, yeah. I used to actually handle the MSDS for all of our solvents when I was in the office machine service.
Yeah. Yeah.
all it says is eye protection is recommended. Goggles or shield. Rubber gloves are recommended. Use in well ventilated area. Do not use in California,
right?
Or anodized surfaces. Do not use on.
Probably causes cancer in California.
Yeah.
well, here's another one that I use. It's just paint stripper. If I just want to strip a head on a motor without taking the motor off the model, I'm getting really lazy now. And I just want to clean it up on the model. I'll just put paint stripper on, mask off what you don't want stripped, and then use a toothbrush after half an hour or so, and then clean it off. That way, at least you can get your
on your engine, huh? Like on the engine, keep them nice looking.
Yep, just to keep when your headphones are all caked up with baked on caster and everything's looking really gunky, be respectable. It's a quick way of just taking off the excess burnt on castor oil. But it says it's dichloromethane, so it's probably a common substance, but it's in a jelly form. So you brush it on, it's pong, something wicked, but it does the job very well.
Yeah, I've got a couple engines right now that I use primary because they're just great for 2 running motors, but they're getting to the point. This is the 3rd year, and they're getting to the point where the caster that they're starting to look nasty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
I always keep my engines like that. My brother's like, "Why don't you clean that?" I said, "I don't know, it looks tough when you got caster all burnt on it."
It might cool better if you keep it cleaned up.
Yeah, I know it.
Hey, Jared.
Exactly. Rusty's right about that. The cleaner you keep that sucker, the cooler that your engine will stay.
Yeah.
Yep. That shit gets all gunked up in there. That's just a heat sink. That just holds heat.
Yeah, drop the dissipation.
You guys must be talking about built up castor oil on the motors or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Different ways of cleaning them.
Oh yeah.
This is that Enya 45. It says on there a 45-2 model 6002.
Yeah, that's the later one. Yeah, that's the.
There's something stamped on there, GCG, whatever that means. It's stamped on that one lug, right there, and I don't know what GCG means.
I don't know either.
About Enyas.
But I figured the Venturian in needle valve was worth what I paid for the motor. So.
Oh, they're a good motor. They did a Schnurl ported one, the SS model, and they do them as a 40 and a 45, and they were quite famous stunt motors. They did quite well. That was back in the 80s. They were popular. I think it was Steve Tyndall, an English stunt flyer. He was a good competition flyer. Used one, and a Chipmunk, I think, if I remember rightly, the SS 40 or 45.
Yeah, the 45. Yeah, my brother's got a 45 and he's got a 50. And I guess there used to be a 49 that people loved. But the 50 is basically the same motor. He brought it back out, put 50 on it.
They did a CX version that was a lot heavier. I think they're AAC. I've got the CX40, but it's so heavy. I can't imagine using it on a model.
Yeah, I tell you one thing I'm going to do is I've got a Byron Parker OSLA 46 Hemi, and when that engine gets ready to have a clean job done, and I'm going to disassemble it, I'm going to see what that sleeve looks like, and there's no reason in the world why I couldn't get it and do my other engines. Just copy off that timing on what he did to the sleeve, correct?
Yeah, you should be able to.
I should be able to copy his work easy.
I'll have to let you look at this Taterbug motor. They cut a hole in the cylinder wall down low, so that, because I guess for the back one, that one tends to get hot, so it lets the fuel through there quicker. That's the damn best running LA 46 we got. I mean, that thing never runs away, power up the butt, and it uses less than 3 ounces of fuel. I don't know how it uses such little bit of fuel.
That sounds like this Byron Parker motor I got last year. And it's a good run in LA. I thought all my LAs run real good, you know, during the contest, but when it gets real hot out, last year at Polk City got real hot in the afternoon on the first day, and people was having problems of running away, you know, on their engine.
Humid as hell.
Yeah. The humidity and the heat, man. And I didn't have the Byron, you know, engine then. Well, this year, if it's like that again, I've got it this year, and we'll see what it does if it's going to run away.
Yeah, I tried to get John Tate to make some more of them Taterbug motors, but he said that.
Oh, I got a John Tate FP40, and it runs a beautiful 4.2 brake, but he said he'd worked on it, but I didn't know more than that about it. That's what's on my Twister. I didn't even know John was an engine guy.
I didn't. Well, he does a lot of stuff. I don't, but I guess he can do. He's a machinist too, or something. But he said that it took so long to do the cylinders, that the jig he set up to cut the hole in it and stuff like that. But I thought, hell, you know, if you're doing just one or something like that, you could probably take a Dremel tool and be real careful and
well,
about the same
you
thing.
know, I mean, some of these Dremel tools, yeah, you could use that, but some of them's got different diameters of rotary for the Dremel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm thinking that I should be able to take this thing apart and be able to duplicate easy of what he's done and be able to do these motors myself. One thing I've been warned to watch out for is when you go boring holes in these ABN sleeves, that it'll, if you're not really careful, or even if you are, possibly it can make the nickel start peeling off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And might not get much life out of it after that. But I bet you that FP40 I've got is what we're talking about here.
And another thing is what you're saying about the nickel plating. When you're grinding on that or reworking it, is the heat. You got to keep the heat down. You get too much heat build up, you know, of grinding too much, and you get that thing too hot, then there you go.
Yeah.
Keep oil on it while you're boring.
I mean, yeah, I mean, some of these, you put it on an end mill machine, and hell, you can actually, run a coolant to cool whatever you're cutting.
Yeah.
And it's actually a special type of coolant also.
Yeah. I've seen pictures or videos of machinists, and they've had a steady flow of oil, I presume.
Yeah, it's like a baby ship blue color. Or not. Well, I guess I've never seen baby ship blue.
Something like coolant, antifreeze.
Man, it's weird feeling too.
Yeah. I did that when I was young. I worked at a machine place doing machining work, and you had your hands in it all day. I didn't like that. But,
I mean, Gerald, he's probably used to. He can do machine work. I know he can because he's got that Nova.
Yeah.
One of these days, I've got a couple fellas that's got the small lathe. You know what I mean? But I would like to have the one that you can make it into a lathe or set here and go like this, and now all of a sudden it's an end mill. I want an end mill.
Yeah, they had, they used to sell them at Harbor Freight.
They still do. I was told recently they do. Or maybe that was you that told me that.
I went back in, they still got the little mill, the little lathe, but they don't have it to where you just loosen up a deal and it turns up and becomes a mill. I did my damnedest to buy one from a school they never use, and it come from Harbor Freight. They wouldn't sell it to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be the cat's ass. But
I have in my garage, not here, down here, I've got some Chinese thing, but in my garage, I got a nice Craftsman, and I can whip that thing up to quite a, oh gosh, I bet you I know I can at least get $5,000, 5,000 RPM out of it. And I can go all the way down to about 250 RPM, just barely going. But yet, man, there's a bunch of things missing on just a drill press versus an end mill, Yeah. I'd love to have that bed dial in, but I need to buy me a bed. That's what I could do. Buy one of them vices, that I can wheel in with the thousands and get it set up.
Yeah, I know that I got online and I'm like, well, maybe someone still makes that little mill lathe type deal, and they do, but they want like $3,000 for them.
Oh, I know, they're cashy little bastards.
Yeah,
but man, there's so much you can make and do off of an end mill and a lathe.
The one that Harbor Freight had was like $800. I should have bought it. I thought that was too expensive, but
yeah, that's too expensive for me.
Yeah, if I had a do-over in life, one of those things, of course, they never work out like you hope, but if do-overs were possible, I'd like to learn the skills of being a machinist as well as a welder. Two things I really wish that I had gotten when I was younger.
I love it. When I did it, it's been a few years for sure, but man, I love it. I loved it.
So I'm lucky because Dick that we fly with, he's an old machinist, and in his shop he's got a lathe and he's got a mill, just a real small mill, and he can turn out. You want to do any kind of venturi or whatever, he's got like boring bits and this and that. He makes stuff so damn perfect
just take these engine plates for example. Shit, I can get that all dialed in, man, and take off how many degrees I want, or take a raw piece of aluminum and just make something out of it. Wheels, that's another thing, is I could make me some spoke wheels if I wanted, aluminum, nice looking wheels. You can spin them out on the lathe, but man, it's nice to get on that inside of that wheel and really take an end mill and work it.
Yeah, make some nice spoked aluminum wheels or something like that.
Yep. Or take your engines, take the heads off and hemi them out, or you can do that.
I prefer to just leave them alone and run them if they don't run right, or something different. But I used to do that a lot when I was young. Well, it was over 30 years ago. I used a lathe when I was at Maxwell and Nelson Engineering. I
got a couple old engines I use for parts now, but all that really needed was a new bushing put up in there. I could make bushings.
Well, the one thing Dick did was to hemi out heads. He bought an end mill with the diameter or the shape that he wanted.
Yep.
And you can just stick it in a drill press and hemi him right out.
Well, yep.
So he had the, you know, instead of putting on a lathe or whatever and working that or a mill, he just had ordered a end mill with the right diameter or the right
radius.
right radius. Yep.
Yeah.
That he wanted.
It's like a bull nose.
Yep. And he just goes in there and zips them out. And he does FP40s and stuff like that all the time.
Yep. I think I need to I'll concentrate on that. Plus I don't know if I have it, but I don't know if I have a lock, you know, to where your chuck, you know, you're on a drill press, you can make it go down, you know, but you want to lock that in place.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if my chuck will lock in, but yeah, I think I'll concentrate on getting myself one of them vices that has it. You can turn around and has the thousands right there.
Yeah, you can go on different axes and work on your part.
Well, that was
you need to go, you know, forward and aft and left and right, you know, with your bed, you know, to make a good end mill work.
well, that was like with the Thunder Tiger 40s and 36s and stuff like that. The back plate Dick took and he made a jig up. It fit on a lathe, and he had to turn so many thousandths off it. It would fit right into an LA or, you know, LA 40 or 46. Everything was perfect except the diameter was so many thousandths off, and it wouldn't go in. So he'd buy a dozen of them back plates from Thunder Tiger and just whip them out in 10 minutes. Had it set, you know, had his lathe set up, and he'd not put that on a piece of nylon how he had it. It would center it and stuff. He'd zip, pop it off, pop another one off, zip. And God, he was selling them for, I don't know, $10 or something like that. Because he could buy them for a few bucks, $2 and something. Then Thunder Tiger quit making the damn engines, and we couldn't get the parts anymore. But at the end there, he ordered 50 of them. And then all of a sudden they were back ordered, and then they said that he couldn't get them anymore. But yeah, that was working great for them back plates for LAs. Get rid of that plastic one. But I think I got 2 left, you know, that I got on a couple motors. But
What do machinists do with all of their leftover shavings and stuff? I guess take them to a metal recycling place, and I hate to think of throwing all that away.
The ones I know and a couple places I worked, yes.
yeah,
But the biggest thing is most places when you do work, you got pretty much, you know, you got stainless or you got, you know, a mild steel. Well, when you do your project, you get done with your project. If you ever notice and go into a machine shop, it's pretty clean, ain't it?
yeah.
Yeah. A good machinist keeps his work area pretty clean, and all them shavings and everything all get put in a bucket. And some of them get put in bins. Now we have NTN Bauer here, and what they do is they make ball bearings for all over the world, you know. And they actually have a vacuum that sucks all this stuff up, and then it ends up as an auger, and they auger it all the way outside the building into a bend. And this bend, we had to move it construction wise, and it weighed 69,000 pounds, just the bin empty. And that thing gets full, and then a semi pulls up, and there's 2 chutes underneath it, like, you know, a concrete plant would have. And they open up, and all that shavings go in the truck, fill up the semi, and then out it goes.
But what it is that, like, when you're turning, you know, I was talking to Dick about that, and he said you get like 30 cents a pound for scrap or whatever it was.
It depends. Number 1, you know, is real clean aluminum, you know, and then you got number 2 and number 3, you know, it depends how dirty that is.
But he was on, you know, he said, he goes, hell, to get $5 worth of shavings, he goes, it'd take me 10 years.
Oh,
Because
no, it wouldn't take that long, but get $5 worth of aluminum shavings to take it. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of aluminum work, but
yeah, that's what he said. And he don't take enough off, because a lot of that he buys like a hollow tube or whatever, thick, so then he just turns the outside of it and whatever, and then he can actually go in there and drill it out to whatever size. But there ain't a whole lot of shavings on the stuff he makes. Some of these factories, boy, they hog out they might have a 1-ton block and ends up weighing 500 pounds when they're done taking all the metal out of it,
right,
what they make.
right. You got 1,500 pounds of waste,
Yeah.
Good machinists, they all have that, less waste. And less waste means less cutting time.
Yeah.
Less cutting time means better blades. You don't have to worry about your cutters getting duller. Each time you make a cut or make something, you got to think about your equipment.
Yeah. Hey, did y'all see that post on Stunthangar today by Jim Lee about the ball bearings he had glued to the end of a dowel for shaping fillets, and he had them in everything from 1/4 inch up to 1 inch, and that was a pretty good idea. I don't have any problem using my finger, but that ball bearing, you can turn in any direction and it's still a round surface.
It's still the same. Yeah, I think that's a hell of an idea.
Wing, that's the hardest part of making a perfect fillet is the lead edge. So
I did that a long time ago but we made up our own epoxy stuff for fillets.
Yeah.
Take a dowel and then take a drill bit and drill a hole in it and then glue the ball bearing in the dowel.
Yeah.
And did the same thing, but when you drop it on the ground, then you gotta look for the ball bearing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. When Tom said ball bearings, that made that light ding in my head. So
yeah, that was something we did a long time ago. It works well.
Yeah, that's a good light jingle. And the thing of it, I never even thought about it. Is I have them containers that you pull the lid and put chew in your lip. I've got a bunch of them containers. I got 3 of them that are filled with ball bearings, all different sizes, all the way down from the size of a BB all the way up to 3.
We had a company in Columbia when I was a kid, Gibbs Machinery Company, and they had a front retail counter, and they had the kind of containers you see in hardware stores that are full of nails. Well, they had those full of different size ball bearings, and I was in like the 6th grade, and we shot marbles on the playground. I'd go get big old, we call them steelies.
Like that one?
Pile of them. But
yeah, I've got a ball bearing that big. I've got some that big.
Just in case I do a 1/4 scale control line airplane, I can make
There you go. There you go. There you go.
or a slingshot too.
Yeah. What I use them for is I use them for to plug vacuum hoses. I even have pool
I
balls.
use BBs to plug fuel hoses sometimes, or 177 pellets.
Yeah, pellets work real good. Yeah.
Yeah. I even have pool balls. I have 3 or 4 different size pool balls that I use for radiators. I use for radiator hose.
Oh, to plug them.
I'll plug up a radiator hose upper and lower, and then a heater hose. I use another ball bearing, and then I pressurize the radiator so I can see where the leak is.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I never thought of it. And it's a
Well,
new one.
if I take an engine out or something or anything like that, and I don't want antifreeze getting everywhere, I'll use these balls to plug up everything.
But yeah, I got this.
Thing is,
They're playing marbles in schools. I got that for Samantha. That place. Yeah, I'm like, there you go. Find someone to play you with steelies.
Yeah, man, let me tell you, you get hit in the side of the head with that ball, you're going to feel it.
Or you might not.
No, you probably wouldn't. You'd be
Turn
done.
the lights out.
It's hard to believe.
I got to get up early enough to do my duty around the house and go flying tomorrow. I hate to close the show on such interesting topics, but I got to go. If y'all want to hang around and chat, that's fine. But
No, I've got to get going tonight.
Yeah.
we didn't let Jared get a word in edgewise. He came in late.
Yeah, I was actually spraying this plane with some dope, so
He's
doing that, cleaning the gun.
He's setting back doping.
Yep. I was hitting the dope pretty hard tonight.
Yeah. Okay, dudes.
Right. Take it easy, guys. I'm gonna get off.
Hopefully, I'll give y'all a good flight report. If I don't show up, it'll be because I fell down and cracked my head or something.
What time you gonna be on the? What time you're gonna be out at the field?
After lunch.
After
Eastern
lunch?
time. After
All
lunch
right.
Eastern time, yeah.
If I remember about it, I'll send you a good luck text.
Yeah, send face to east and send good vibes. I enjoyed it. This was a good show tonight, and we will see y'all on Friday. Okay. So.
All right. Take it easy.
Yeah. Tight lines. See ya.
Yeah.
Tom, when are you